What's up, TE150? Mike Johnson here, doing the third video for the GLP project covering my second interaction with Sergio. So Sergio and I again met up on campus at a dining hall, had another meal together, and we pretty much just continued our conversation about each other's cultures and our educational experiences. My parents were definitely involved a bit and assisted in my educational experience in school. They would help me learn material that I struggled with. And my mom would also volunteer at the school sometimes and help out with various tasks and jobs. Quite a few parents at my elementary school did that. While Sergio told me his parents never did any volunteer work at the schools. His parents did help him out a lot though with school assignments and schoolwork whenever something was challenging, as I'm sure many students receive help like that from their parents here in the US and in Honduras. Parent-teacher conferences. My parents never really went to my parent-teacher conferences unless I specifically told them I wanted them to see this teacher or that teacher. Otherwise, they would kind of just trust that the teachers were doing a good job. Sergio told me, on the other hand, though, his parents always wanted to meet and talk with his teachers. He did go to private school in Honduras, though, so maybe that's part of the difference. As in private school, I'm sure you pay more than the public schools. So it would make sense that you want to make sure the teachers are doing a good job if you're paying more. We talked a bit more this time about each other's social lives as well. And it seems like we had pretty similar experiences. We each kind of had our own group of friends that we hung out with, and you could pick out and see the other groups of friends. And we were each both kind of guilty of stereotyping, just in the sense we would kind of characterize each group. Group A is kind of like this, Group B is kind of like this group's kind of like that. And then I asked Sergio about stereotype threat, which is something we talked about a bit in class. Which is basically the idea that if you are a member of a group that feels negatively affected by a stereotype in your performance in education, then it actually results in you performing worse in education. Sergio didn't seem too keen or sold on the idea of stereotype threat. He seemed to think that your academic performance falls mainly on you and your own actions, and that outside factors can have an influence, but not to a degree that demands much merit. Stereotype threat to me is kind of troubling. I feel like I can see both sides of the issue, and I think both are reasonable. It's troubling me because if there's a stereotype saying X group of people perform bad in academics, and then because of that stereotype they do, it kind of means the stereotype is true then. Maybe not for the reasons that those people are thinking, but the result seems kind of the same to me. And if stereotype threat is having a large effect on a particular group of students, it should definitely be addressed in education. Sergio and I also discussed motivation a bit, which was a major topic we talked about in class. External, internal, how much, how little. Again, we found a lot of similarities in what we thought the motivations present in our school were. I remember in my first grade class, our teacher had a jar, and she would fill it up with corks every time we did something right or good in class. And finally, when it got full, we would have a party or something. I honestly don't remember, but it was something good. And Sergio talked about how he remembered having a similar system in one of his early grade school classes where there was a grid on the board and you get stickers and stars. And when you fill up the grid, they got treats. These are definitely both examples of external motivation, though, because it involves you looking outward for something to try to get pleasure. Whereas intrinsic or internal motivation, you're not really concerned with the outside. You could have blinders on and you still feel passionate and are driven to do what you're trying to do. Me and Sergio both agreed that intrinsic motivation is a lot more important in the later grades and as you move up in education. It's good to realize for yourself what the purpose of what you're doing is, and hopefully that moves you to pursue it. Internal motivation is much more efficient than external motivation, and we should try to fill students with that. That is my third and last video for the GLP. Thank you.